Hello ladies and gentlemen, Swing Wing Sing is back with another build video. This time it's the Academy 148 scale P-38E Lightning, of which I had already done in unboxing videos some time back. If you haven't seen that already, please look at the link in the description below and you can see the unboxing. So I began with the very first step in the assembly, which is of course assembling the cockpit. And you can see that there is a fair amount of detail that is provided within the kit itself. In fact, the assembly is really good. All the parts, they just fit together like butter. And here you can see that I've almost entirely assembled the cockpit, with the assembly of the control column being such that the actual drive shaft, it fixes like so, and it gives a very nice look to the overall cockpit. And you can see that here the interiors are all done and a very nice little cockpit builds up. Now once the cockpit was assembled, I moved on to the next step, which is the assembly of the top and bottom wing halves. The instructions tell you to drill the holes, and these holes are basically for the mounting of the weapons, but we'll come back to that shortly. So here you can see me assembling the undercarriage gear bay door assembly, and as you can see here, there was a slight issue in the overall fit of the assembly. This entire assembly basically goes within the engine nacelles, as you will see shortly. And once all this was assembled and the gaps taken care of, I began painting the interiors with sap green. Now most of the reference pictures that I saw online, they showed that the interiors of the P-38E Lightnings are all sap green, with the exception of these little parts like the control column and the radio equipment behind the pilot's seat. So I painted those with Fevicryl black. Now, one thing which I really felt could be an improvement to be added in this kit would be some seat belts in the form of decals or photo etch, but because they were not present in the kit, so I scratch built the seats with masking tape. And here you can see me now detailing the switches with toothpick, white paint, yellow paint and red paint wherever those particular switches were. Closing up the undercarriage gear bay door assembly, and you can see that there is still that gap which will have to be addressed. However, it's a good thing that that gap existed, because it allowed me to check the fit of the landing gear legs before I went for any filling or sanding. You will really need a lot of dry fitting beforehand in order to figure out where the gaps will be and how well the fit goes. Now here you can see these air scoops, part number D26 and D27. So it shows that one of them is going to be attached on the outer side of the boom and the other is going to be on the inner side. Now the outer side of course had an indentation where you could attach it, but once you fix the tail boom assembly and also fix the landing gear bay assembly within the engine nacelle, there is absolutely no space to fit the inner part of the air scoop. So I then decided to omit the inner part, just drilled out a small hole to fix the outer part. And then I fixed the two tail boom assemblies with the engine nacelles, and then also attached the landing gear bay assembly within the engine nacelles here. And you can see that it took a little bit of wiggling around to make it fit correctly, and this required a lot of work on my part. Now here you can see me assembling the propeller assembly with this propeller spinner pin basically, and once that pin was assembled, the assembly of both the tail booms was complete. Right, then the first of the decals was the instrument panel decal, which I cut out from the decal sheet, and as soon as I dipped it in water, it started coming apart. I was able to salvage it a little bit and was able to attach it within the cockpit instrument panel. Alrighty, cloth pegs to the rescue, but not for drying clothes outside, but for holding the upper and lower wing halves together while the cyanoacrylate glue set in. And I used these cloth pegs to hold the two halves of the wings together. And here you can see that the wing assembly has turned out really good. Right, tail boom assemblies then follow. Simply slide it in from the bottom and it fits on the fuselage. The assembly of the nose is basically these two parts that align together nicely, and there's a nice locator pin, and you can see that it aligns without any gaps. I then attached the cockpit instrument panel and the dashboard, and then moved on to fitting the rear half of the nose section. Okay, time to fix the weapons then, and basically here you can see me assembling the bomb. I wanted the P-38E to carry the bombs. So basically the assembly is 5 different parts. 2 of them are the central portion of the bomb. There's one little warhead pin. Basically it's a fuse pin. Here you can see me attaching that. And the rear section is of course the fins of the bombs, which are in 2 separate pieces. So 4 of those pieces aligning together, and then these pieces connecting together to form the entire 250 kg bomb. Now, the instructions tell you to add 20 grams of weight in the nose here, but hang on and see what happens. So here are dried up pieces of modeling clay, and look at how many pieces are adding up to make 20 grams of weight. 6 of those, and we're still not up to 20 grams. Now, how would I add those 6 in a space so small? I had no idea, and they would just not fit. So I was left with no choice but to stuff up the entire nose, front section, and even the rear section right up to the cockpit with a lot of weight. I think I went above 60 grams of weight here, and I must say that this Lightning stands first in being the best tail sitter ever. Alright, moving on to the tedious part of filling, and you can see filler all along the engine nacelle connection, the nose connection to the fuselage, the right engine nacelle connection to the fuselage and wings needed a lot of filler in the front, in the rear. So once those sections were filled and sanded, even the top sides of the propeller, I was ready for painting. And here you can see me using the tissue paper method. Basically, I'm just wetting that piece of tissue paper to cover up the entire cockpit section so that while painting, I don't spray over the cockpit. Alright, so I'm at the final stage before painting. It shows you this drop tank, and this comes with an inbuilt hard point, which is actually the case when I put the drop tank together, and you can see that this is an inbuilt hard point. Whereas in the bomb's case, you see that's the bomb, you have to separately build a hard point, and there are 2 of those because they've given you the option of 2 bombs. Now the problem is, and this is where I was totally confused, I really wanted to use the rockets, but the problem is there are no hard points given for the rockets. And also, if you see here, they've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So they've got 10 of these rockets, but there are no hard points to assemble the rockets. Neither are there any instructions beyond the bomb and the drop tank. You see that after this step, they've just shown the final assembly step, and then we move on to the painting guide. This instruction sheet doesn't mention whether you can build multiple versions, and the reason for that is that the decal sheet, as I had shown you in the unboxing video as well, the decal sheet has markings for just one aircraft. But now have a look at this. So this is the bomb, and this is the hard point for the bomb. So the other end of this pylon has two divots that actually go into the notch inside the bomb. So you can see that it fits snug, which means that these ones will go actually into the wing. And if I bring the model in right here, so you see there are pre-drilled holes. I checked pictures online, and the drop tanks are always on the inner hard points, and the bombs are mounted on the outer hard points. Now, if that's the case with this, take a look at this. Look at that. It doesn't even align. These holes are much farther apart, and even if I take the drop tank, they are much farther apart even for the drop tank. So definitely the drop tanks are going to go in here, and definitely they fit here. They fit snug here. But in the case of the bombs, they do not fit in the outer one. Now if I try to fit the bomb on the inner one, here you can see the hard point goes in. But then if that's the case, there's no possibility to attach the drop tank, because the space between these two inbuilt divots on top of the drop tank hard point is very less. Very confusing instructions. No instructions for the rockets. The bombs don't fit on the outer hard points. If I have to drill in a hole for the attachment of the bomb, I'll have to fill up the rear hole on the underside of the wing. Alright, so with that bit of confusion taken care of, I then moved on to the pre-shading, and as you can see, I am using Fevicryl Black with a paintbrush, and I find this method of pre-shading much more relaxing. So then I moved on to the actual painting of the camo pattern, or the paint pattern, and this is simply Fevicryl Gray, which is being painted on the underside, followed by Fevicryl Sap Green. In fact, I added a little bit of black, and that converted the sap green into olive drab, and that's how I was able to achieve the olive drab shade that you see me painting out here. Alright, so then moving on to the painting of the canopy, and here you can see me detailing the canopy frame with olive drab, and this is simply being brush painted. Right then, the next step was to assemble the wheel rims and the tires on top of the wheel rims, and it took a little bit of pressure here to get the wheel rims inside the PVC tires, but you see that those tires look very nice there. And then I sprayed the entire model with Future. This is roughly 3 coats of Future on top of it to get the shine and prepare it for the decaling phase. As you can see, they are conforming nicely to the surface of the model, and I'm following my standard procedure to apply the decals, which is watered down PVA glue at the place where the decal would go, and then dipping the decal in warm water, and then simply sliding it off in the correct position, and then removing the excess with a cotton Q-tip. Now the last of the decals was this logo marking, squadron logo basically, but one of them just crumbled inside the warm water, and hence I decided to do away with the other one as well. And basically that completed my entire model. Alright, so here are the final beauty shots of the P-38E Lightning. of the US Army Air Corps back in the Second World War. The olive drab color on top also came out as per the color tonality that was required. I was able to attach the bombs and the drop tanks, as that is how I had imagined it to be. I have shown it with the open canopy here. However, since this is going to be packed and shipped, I am leaving everything closed after the camera shots are taken. So I hope you enjoyed watching this video. If you liked the content, please click the thumbs up. Do consider subscribing to the channel, and don't forget to leave a comment, because I love interacting with you guys in the comments. Thank you very much for watching, ladies and gentlemen. I'll see you again in the next one. Bye bye. Take care.